What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos, and welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table. I am joined by none other than the regular guest of the show, Ignacio. How you doing today, sir?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. A little hectic. Finishing up my big move this weekend, so we're gonna get that over with. That way, I can be more available to the listeners of Wrestling Republic, so I can keep you and Soul in line, and so I can keep those schmucks on the Daily Show in line. Also, too much babbling about going on that show.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, we definitely we are lost without your wisdom, Ignacio. I'm pretty sure Soul can agree. And speaking of Soul, even though he's been away from for a while, but guess what, ladies and gentlemen?
I'm back.
There he is. There he is.
I'm back, fuckers. With I've got 25% lung capacity, but I'm back.
Yes. He's still waving the flag. He's here to defend a certain company's honor and everything, and put everyone else in check. So yeah,
when I heard the shit on the daily broadcast and Tony Khan called me and was like, "Soul, I need you back up and ready," I was like, I've rised up from the dead and was like, whatever I can do.
So just rose up like Aleister Black, just rising up, trying to make sure everyone's in check. So but yeah, we got a jam-packed episode for you guys. We are going to be talking about obviously WrestleMania season. We're going to talk about Cody Rhodes, and obviously if he wins the title, who should he face next, and who should his first loss be to? Speaking of Soul, he's obviously going to give his two-twos on our recent thoughts. If you haven't seen the Daily Show, there was a question about have AEW peaked, and obviously he wasn't there to defend the AEW flag. So Soul is obviously got some little gripes with myself and Anthony's comments.
Yeah, of course you dickheads made those comments when I was bedridden.
We're the only ones active. That makes sense. So
I was sick as shit, and I look at the daily broadcast and I was like, well, I'm gotten worse. I think my lungs still.
Also, Ignacio wants to obviously respond to Anthony's comments regarding the WrestleMania card as well, regarding the Brock Lesnar and Omos match as well.
They're pissing everybody off on that show, aren't they?
Yeah, clearly.
More sick. I'm trying to recover and get back to being the MVP of the Republic. I can't do that from freaking hospital.
Well, fair enough, fair play. And of course, another segment for Soul that he wants to go dive into about a certain match that was very important in AEW's legacy, and it involves Ignacio's favorite team as well in AEW. So strap yourselves in. We got a jam-packed episode. Without further ado, let us take it to the table. All right, I don't even know where to even start. You know what? Let's go off with our talk. So basically, on the Daily Show a few days ago, myself, Ben Ellison, the owner of Wrestling Republic, and Anthony were on the Daily Show, and they were doing Mailbag Monday, and one of the comments came in, and they basically said that we asked the question: have AEW peaked in terms of have they hit their highest, and is it just going downhill from here? I gave my thoughts. Anthony obviously gave his thoughts. We pretty much was on an even playing field, saying that they have peaked, and they haven't really hit the heights that they did since CM Punk left. Obviously when Soul obviously got word of this, he did that Cody thing. He did that thing right there. You heard that. And he came charging down, saying, you bastards, this and that. So I was like, you know what? This is the place to obviously vent and give your thoughts. This is why we take it to the table, as the name as the show is titled. So what are your thoughts on this on our comments? So what do you not agree, or do you what's your thoughts?
Christ, here we go. I mean, of course, had to be time I get sick, stay bedridden. I can't go to an indie show tomorrow because I'm too fucked. and then you idiots have to say dumb shit again. What, are you trying to kill me? Are you trying to kill me off, write me off TV and send me to goddamn developmental? Come on.
Sorry.
We're sharing a room in LA, bitch. Just remember that. Just remember that. Look, here's what I'll say to this shite baggery, okay? Has AEW peaked? I don't think it's peaked. I just think the honeymoon period's over. You know, everyone was getting into this so hyped, like, yeah, this is the big alternative. It's going to take down the WWE, because people's expectations were like Mount freaking Everest. For me, you know, I've always said in my story, you know, I got into wrestling in 2019. When the WWE that time, it was freaking Bobby Lashley and Lana storyline levels of entertaining. Ugh. And then AEW was there, and it's like, that was basically wrestling for me. You know, that's the weekly show I watched, got connected to characters, and had fun with. So for me, it wasn't like this new paradise of leaving the old behind. It was just the introduction. And I think what most people are suffering from now is they're suffering from, you know, the honeymoon period being over. It's just now existing. It's now just a company that's now continuing as on. It's not like people are getting so hyped for it as before. And that's fair enough, understandable. You know, everything progresses as it does. And then, you know, it's not got that shine of being new. It's old now. It's a 3-year-old company now. And I feel like what with AEW is that their later half of 2022 was just so bad. Like, even I'll say that, you know, with whole brawl out, Regal leaving, injury lists, people complaining, it's just been a lot for them. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I've pre-ordered Revolution. I'm staying up until like 5 a.m. to watch that shit. I love that shit to death. I'm staying up to watch Dynamite tonight because I can, because I'm off work, because I'm sick. Hooray! But I think people just need to take a step back, reevaluate. It's a bump in the road. The company's not going to be dead or be stuck on some random television where they draw 20,000 viewers every day. They're still drawing 6 figures. The television network, who's the main people they got to please, people say it's the fans. Yeah, you can please the fans, but if the television network take you off, you're fucked. So Turner have released press releases. We're happy with how they're doing. They've got a new show coming out, All Access, the Access one, which is like a behind-the-scenes thing that's going to air right after Dynamite. So that's Power Slap gone, I guess, which is some stupid shit in itself.
Yeah.
It shows that Turner have faith in AEW, and that's what we should be happy with. Wrestlers are getting paid. Wrestlers are getting exposure to be able to make their names. Even on Dark and Elevation, indie talent get to be brought on and get showcased where they could get other bookings. Tony's probably happy with what's going on. He could probably wish for better. Everyone can with every company they can. I wish I could be on the show more often, but I'm not on the Daily Show more often because I get sidelined all the fucking time. That's another point I would complain about when my lung capacity is above 50%. But look, honeymoon period's over. It's just the company as it is now. I love it. Nothing's the only way I would ever stop AEW, like watching AEW, is if they pull like a Katie Vick storyline every week. Like if they pulled that kind of shit, or like what was the shit in TNA with AJ Styles and the creepy stalker lady who's had a baby and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that. If they just be dumb, then yeah, that's a reason to complain. But like for all that matters, am I going to say it's the best it's ever been? No, I personally really loved the pandemic era so much because that's probably when I jumped on and started. It was fun. It was entertaining. I was invested. All I would say now is Rampage going to get cancelled? No. Is AEW going to get flinged onto some crappy network? No. Just shit. Just relax. Okay? Take a deep breath in. I can't, or I'll freaking cough like shit. Just relax.
You know, that's a fair point. I like the term honeymoon period. But still, it may be sure the honey period was. Do you feel like the honeymoon period died or stopped as soon as CM Punk left?
I think it stopped when Brawlout happened, not even when like. I just think like as soon as that whole press conference with him, that I felt that was the shift. Yeah. Just Punk didn't even have to leave, but just his comments, that was when people were like, "Oh, something's not right here." Because it's been like before then, I'm pretty sure we could all agree that it was pictured as like a utopia. Nothing could go wrong. Like it was always just up and up and up. Even with the injuries, they had Forbidden Door. They had great pay-per-views afterwards, and their daily, like the whole weekly show afterwards was still fine. It was Brawl Out where it basically just slapped all the viewers and were like, "Oh, this isn't a utopia. This is just another workplace. It's like my workplace. People argue and fight all the time." It just broke the illusion.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm gonna cough like shit now.
I'm gonna put you on mute. No, but yeah, that's a fair point. I can't really go against that. Really, it's that's a fair point. What about you, Ignacio? Do you have anything to add on that? Do you disagree? Agree? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I just think they got creatively. I think they hit a big roadblock, and I think it's been for a long time. That probably pretty much. I don't think AEW overall had a very good 2022. I think they're regressing and not progressing. But I think just to be fair, that they're hitting they're hitting their first rut. Just like WWE was like up and down and all that stuff over the years where they're hot and then they're not for a long time. Then they come back up. They're a fairly young company. And I think creatively, they just kind of at a standstill that a lot of the things that are happening behind the scenes that we saw over this past year are bleeding over to on screen and not necessarily healthy for the company. I think Tony Khan hasn't overall done a very good job booking. There's certain talent on the sidelines that either don't want to be on TV or waiting to be on TV, or they're just saying, "Hey, we don't have anything for you right now," when probably they should have something for them. But that just comes with Tony Khan not wanting to, probably either refusing to listen to people around him or just not wanting to listen to people around him, or or not offering their input. All the great minds that he has working there. It's hard to believe that they'd be at a standstill creatively, but I just don't think they're very good, doing very well right now all around. Now, does this mean at the end? Obviously, Soul brought up a good point in that Turner is behind the company. I mean, they're giving him a reality show that I don't think necessarily. This is the thing, and I kind of thought about it a little bit. Is that was a very underwhelming announcement that Tony Khan made about the reality show. I thought it was going to be another signing or I don't know, another a match concept or something. But it happened to be that the stupid reality show. But this is the thing, is that I don't think that was so much Tony Khan's idea. I think that was more the network's idea. And the network probably told Tony Khan, like, "Hey, this is what we think could help your product." And who knows? Tony Khan probably said was like, "Well, I don't think that's such a great idea, but we're kind of beholden to who's putting us on TV a little bit. So, okay, we'll go ahead and do it." Because the roads to the top or whatever that was with Cody Rhodes didn't do so well. But again, I don't think that was necessarily a TK idea. I think that was a network idea, and so they're kind of beholden to them because they're showing their product on TV. That's who they have right now. So I don't know. I think they just hit their first rut. And as much as I kind of shit on AEW a lot because of their booking and who they have on their cards and who they're pushing, they got a lot of talent on there. I mean, they got a whole host of talent. They got Miro. They got Lance Archer was back on TV the other day. They got I still like Malachi Black, and they can do some things with them. So I think they just kind of, as a company, they just kind of hit their first rut. Now, if they don't start improving, then they're going to be they can hit a downward spiral quick. But the fact of the matter is Tony Khan is willing, or his dad, apparently they are willing to spend the money, even though they might get deep into the red. I think Tony Khan is still willing to spend the money to at least keep it afloat. Now, does that mean that they'll eventually be like on Impact status? I hope not. Because they really do have a lot of things just need to change creatively. Like right now, for example, I'll finish with this. I'm not really, dude. I'm gonna watch the pay-per-view, but really the only thing I'm kind of excited about or interested in is the MJF Danielson thing, and even then, I think that's kind of flat. But we'll see.
I would rebut my lungs are gonna kill me.
Fair enough. I think I'll settle with this thing that is the honeymoon period is definitely over. It was a shock system for it to when Brawl Out happened. But yeah, I still do believe that because of the brawl out and because the CM Punk tenure ended way before
Way
they
too early.
ended, they didn't have enough time to really build someone that could be up to CM Punk's level or carry the momentum. They were just
Correct.
had to pretty much hit the reset button. And not to say that they're not taking that away from MJF or Hangman Page or anything like that. They're still obviously the top stars, but like as you can tell by the ratings, the biggest obviously pops or the the biggest draw was obviously Punk. And
Yeah.
since then, and
Because
obviously Go.
they just hit. I think in this last Dynamite, they just hit over 1 million, but it's been a while since they've been over 1 million.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. So I think so because of that they were stuck in the rut. They had to hit the reset button, and eventually they brought back the elite and everyone else. And sure, creatively it still hasn't hit the stride. I mean, because it's still the same people that were there in terms of like the creative. Obviously Tony Khan is the head honcho, but
Yeah.
it's not like a huge overhaul of the creative team for them not to churn out the good storylines that they had previously. So yeah, in terms of creative, it's a bit stagnant, but yeah, obviously, like you said, it's the first challenge, and it's stuck in a bit of a rut. But yeah, like every company, they always they always go up and down. So we'll see. I'm not saying that this is the end of AEW. I'm not saying it's going to turn into WCW and Vince Russo booking.
Oh,
God forbid that will ever happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't think that will happen. And then they're not going to be hemorrhaging money and be on some shitty streaming service or on Animal Planet channel or something like that. It's not going to be like that. But
get ready, folks. AEW on Apple TV. Woo!
hey, that's big money though. If they go on Apple, Apple has got the money. So
Oh, what, it's gonna be like the U2 album where everyone gets it forcibly.
oh yeah, you too. Yeah, Bono's greatest hits. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, if you join up. But yeah, I'm definitely still looking forward to Revolution.
Mhm.
I think they just announced the 6-man tag match for the Trios Championship, the Elite versus House of Black. That's my match I'm looking forward to. I would definitely look forward to. That's gonna be sick.
I feel like we're gonna get 2 more matches for that show, honestly.
Fucking garbage.
Well,
I may be sick, I still slap that skinny head of yours.
how else you gonna get the trios titles after you? Like the House of Black is the perfect team to take it off the Elite. So you're getting your wish, or possibly getting your wish. You never know.
Who else? I mean, Jesus Christ, what, the Trustbusters going to come out and
Exactly. Trustbusters. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah. Fair enough. I understand your rebuttal, so that's fine. Moving swiftly on. Now, like we said, it is WrestleMania season. Can you believe it's pretty much 30 days away until this WrestleMania? Can you flip and believe it?
Better get your bags packed.
Sorry?
Better get your bags packed, mate. We're going soon.
Oh yeah,
enough.
no, I'm trust me, I'm starting very soon. I'm very soon.
If I live that long.
So yeah, obviously the main event is of course Cody Rhodes versus the other way around. Roman Reigns. You gotta say the champion's name first. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Things are pointing towards that Cody Rhodes is gonna be the one to dethrone the tribal chief. My question to you guys is obviously when he does win the title or titles, already merge it into one. Who do you think who should take who should give him his first L in the company? I'll go with you, Ignacio. Who do you think should be the first one to give Cody use? Because he hasn't lost yet. So I want to know what's your thoughts on that.
Well, I'll mention. Look, because what I brought to the table, what I was going to talk about, it kind of bleeds into this, to which we're going to talk about. So let me mention first about the stuff about Brock and his match and what Anthony said, because it's going to bleed into what this Cody Rhodes thing is.
Okay.
Do you mind? Or
yeah, might as well. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So I first of all, I'll say that I pretty much agree with what Anthony's comments were, his ideals about the match with like Lesnar and Omos and Wyatt and Lashley. in that, well, he was saying that nobody wants to see it, that it's not Mania card worthy and all this stuff. And for the most part, I agree. But from a different perspective, is that, bro, these guys, a lot of these guys are out. Like Riddle is still getting punished. Orton's still injured. And probably not coming back until midsummer or something, or maybe after Mania. But for whatever reason, they still have him on the shelf. Austin turned down the match with Lesnar, right? Or that's what was assumed. That was what was reported. Austin turned that. So who are you gonna put him with? Because these guys are out. Another option would be Strowman, but they got him in a tag with Ricochet because they're trying to build up the tag division. Plus, he just lost to Gunther, so you don't want to totally get Braun Strowman down the totem pole too far. So who are you going to put him with? So they put him with Omos, who, yes, I'm not too excited about seeing, but he had an okay match with Strowman. He hasn't been on TV since, so I'm assuming they have him still training at the Performance Center. It's going to be a 5 to 7 minute match, and they're from watching on Monday Night Raw. Did you all see Raw? Right? No? Okay. So from watching Raw and that segment with that Lesnar had with MVP, that was great stuff. Like that was pretty good. Like that interaction they had there, because they're making it more Lesnar against MVP, and Omos is just the stand-in because MVP can't work with Lesnar because he's old and injuries or whatever. So it's more they're making it more Lesnar versus MVP more than Lesnar and Omos. Kind of the same concept they used back in the day, way back in the day with Hogan and Heenan. Like Hogan and Heenan, Bobby Heenan, the manager, was like Heenan would get these guys like Orndorff and King Kong Bundy and John Studd to go up against Hogan and try to take the title off of him and stuff. But it was more Hogan versus Heenan, and those guys were the stand-ins for Heenan, the muscle for him to try to take the title off of Hogan. But it was more Hogan versus Heenan, and then Andre come along, and then Hogan and Andre, and you know the history there. So it's more Lesnar versus MVP because that's what's marketable, not necessarily Lesnar against Omos. And dude, Lesnar's a draw. People just want to go see Lesnar because he's charismatic. He has the connection with the crowd. He's a big name. He's a superstar. So, you know, it's going to be a win for Lesnar unless they shock us, unless Omos really shows us some personality and interact with the crowd and he improved vastly, then Omos will win. But either way, whether it's Lesnar or Omos, and then I'll go real quickly to Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley. Whatever you think about Bray Wyatt creatively, he was a star and does great promos. And Bobby Lashley is Bobby Lashley. I mean, when he can get physical, he can get physical. You know, he can be a good heel, good babyface. He has to have a mouthpiece. But no matter how you see these matches, I am a little bit intrigued as far as Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt because we've never seen it before. But, bro, it doesn't matter because the point is these two matches, what they're doing, they're not ending feuds necessarily or long story arcs. Bro, these matches are in place because they need to start lining up opponents for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
So Lesnar is a star in and of itself, but you want to give him a win against somebody at WrestleMania, and you kind of want to tie a story into it. So that's why they got MVP there. And then with Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt, he has a great promo. He's a great talker. You want to try to build some intrigue in the match, so you put him against Bobby Lashley because they've never touched before. And Lashley's kind of like can be a monster heel or it can be a baby face. But in this case, I think maybe they want to build him up as the heel. I don't know. But either way, if Bobby Lashley gets a win over Bray Wyatt, then that's a great way to build somebody up for Cody Rhodes, is giving him a big win over this star at WrestleMania on a big platform. So I think that's what these two matches are. It's not necessarily that they're might be intriguing initially, but it's kind of getting somebody to build up opponents for Cody Rhodes because we're like, a month away from WrestleMania, assuming that Cody has the rematch with Roman at Backlash. That's 6 weeks away or 8 weeks away. So we got 8 to 10 weeks before we can start building up guys for Cody Rhodes, because that's the mistake they've made in the past is they crown a new champion or keep Reigns as the champion. Like guys in the past, like Danielson and other guys, is one of the issues was they didn't have opponents, hot heels, to take on Danielson and guys in the past. And in this case with Cody Rhodes, they want to make sure that they had built up some heels, because other than Roman, who's a top heel? Who's a hot heel right now? Maybe Gunther, but he's on top of the card. He's on the top of the mid card. Who?
I would say Gunther.
Gunther, yeah, but Gunther's on top of the mid card. I'm not saying that he can't go up against Cody, but who else?
Solo Sikoa.
Nobody. I mean, he's not necessarily on fire. He's a part of the bloodline, the story.
What about the dangerous man who's been to prison, Dominic Mysterio?
I'd say he's probably mid card at best. But
imagine this: Dominic wins Money in the Bank, comes out, batters Cody with the briefcase, pulls out his bandana, just goes see, bang, and then he wins.
That's 3 months out. I'm saying like in the immediate, like if they don't have anybody, so they just start.
Have Vince come back. Have Vince come back and win it.
Oh, for fuck's sake! No, stock will plummet. But
who knows? Maybe they could do a double act thing and like Stardust comes back somehow. Someone dresses up as Stardust. Beats Cody.
So going into going into that, who do I think should give Cody his first loss if he wins the titles somewhere around SummerSlam or whatever, however long the run runs? I mean, it has to be somebody that's legitimate, somebody that Cody can have a good story with. Is Lesnar kind of worn out already?
I'd say so.
What mileage can they get out of Bray Wyatt, because he's losing kind of like some legitimacy at this point. I think a good heel, maybe like a good heel,
LA Knight,
or a good heel Bobby Lashley, with an MVP as the mouthpiece, or maybe Gunther. I would say Gunther would be good.
I mean, in all seriousness, I think like 3 people I love to see Cody feud with: LA Knight, as I just mentioned there,
100%,
and Bobby Lashley. I think would be an interesting one as well.
Yeah,
The Miz, I kind of want to see that, because The Miz is kind of like, Cody's trying to be like the face of the company. Miz could be like a sort of thing like, I am the A-lister, Hollywood, I got the movies. Like Cody's trying to be what he is. But I think the person to easily give him his first loss, and heck, I'd be up for taking the title off him, is Gunther. Like Gunther could have like the long, like you can even do it like a SummerSlam event or even Survivor Series or whatever, like the Ultimate Warrior Hogan thing, both titles on the line. And like Cody's made star, like he's had world championships in other companies and everyone loves him. His merch is selling off the thing. But to make someone a star, imagine Gunther with the title and the Intercontinental title, like Ultimate Warrior run done properly.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind LA Knight, but so the other day on SmackDown, LA Knight come out and I'm like, whoa, okay, like, come out, gonna do the promo, whatever, and it's been a few weeks since we've seen him. Great. And then the fucking New Day comes out and I'm like, I'm done. Fuck this. Because I knew it was gonna happen.
Unicorn penises again.
Fucking knew it. I knew what was gonna happen. And I stayed tuned. I was like, okay, well, they're gonna give him a win over Kofi, right? Because it's they're gonna they got the promos, he's got the look. I think he outshined Bray Wyatt actually in their Bray Wyatt feud, and he fucking jobs the Kofi. And I'm like, say fuck these guys. They're the most toxic shit in wrestling right now, and more so than anybody else. I hate these guys. They have no business being in the wrestling business, and I think I hate them more than ever now. I'm not personally, just their presence in the wrestling.
I like to imagine, Ignacio, you're like Jay White when he just screams "fuck" every time the New Day come on TV.
Yeah,
like, fuck!
Right.
Fair enough.
LA
Knight will be a very good shout if they build him properly. I think he's on the cusp of definitely being a possible challenger at some point. Gunther, I would 100%. He's number one to be the person. I think it'll be, if they gave it to him, I would want it to be very similar to what Cody and Brody Lee did. Now I don't want it to be a total carbon copy, But obviously, wait till SummerSlam. Gunther is like I want him to be how he was when he was the UK champion. Just dominate Cody. He takes the title. I don't think it'll be a point. I don't think it'll be a situation where it would damage Cody's reputation. I think it will be definitely something where a lot of fans would definitely appreciate him more if he was chasing the title again, more than with his position is something where he could lose it, claw his way back to facing Gunther for the title again, and then it will be something similar to where it was Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov. Like Dragunov literally had to almost kill himself for him to actually take down Walter as this unstoppable being. And
well, I think that's their. I think that's their. So, from what I read or heard, is that they're planning either Gunther and Drew at Mania or Gunther, Drew, Sheamus at Mania.
Yeah,
which I don't like triple threats, but I think in this case I'd be a little bit more forgiving because all these guys, when Drew wants to, he can lay his shit in. And we know with Sheamus and Gunther, they laid their shit in at the match with at the pay-per-view at the UK pay-per-view. So I think that's going to be their out because in that triple threat situation, even though I don't like the rules, but in this case it's Gunther. Gunther doesn't have to lose. Right, yeah. Sheamus can pin Drew, or Drew can pin Sheamus, and then rematch, whatever. It could be shenanigans, or maybe Gunther can come out a little short. There's no shame in losing fairly, but if they want to keep Gunther hot, you know what I mean. They can take the title off of him at Mania and then start building him for a main event program for Cody.
Drew versus Sheamus versus Gunther will probably be my match of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a meat fest for sure, definitely. Okay, cool, fair enough. So yeah, moving swiftly on. So I think we killed like two birds with one stone in that one. Cool. So
well, I'll say this, and also I'll say this real quick is that dude. Yeah. So we got Cody and Roman in the main event, and then we got well, it hasn't been announced yet, but it's probably going to be the Usos against Kevin and Sammy. And then we got Rhea Ripley, we got Rhea and Charlotte, and then we got I like Asuka and Bianca, and the Intercontinental, the title match with Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus, and then I think Seth and Rogan. That's gonna be a
Rogan. You mean Logan?
Rogan.
Oh,
and then we got Theory. Possibly Theory and Cena, right?
Oh yeah, that was
dude. That's 7 matches there that look pretty damn good. So I mean, this like Bray and Lashley and Brock and it almost is dude. It's
fuck that shit.
Yeah, they're not gonna put them on the same night. They'll probably separate them, right? Yeah. So, but dude, it's shaping up to be a pretty good, strong Mania card.
Hey Chaos, how do you feel about we might see Cena wrestle live?
I'm just gonna keep on looking at that bald patch. It was good.
Hell, dude. Here's me like, wow, I get to see Cena wrestle live, a legend in the business, and you're just like, haha, bald spot.
Yeah, bald spot. Fuck it. Like, yeah, I've seen Cena wrestle live. I saw him face Rock, both once in a lifetime, 2. So yeah,
twice in a lifetime, huh? No, that wasn't marketing bullshit.
Yeah, that huge scam. But so yeah, it's cool seeing Cena live and everyone. It'd be nice to see for once people actually cheering him because I think people can actually they like him now. So,
well, yeah, because because of really kind of WWE up until 8-9 months ago. I mean, everybody was bitching their product was awful. So I think now people appreciate guys like Cena and Randy Orton, for that matter, more now than they ever did before.
Like if he comes back.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on, time out. I'll switch out Gunther, and I'll say I would love to see a program with Randy and Cody.
That'd be good. That'd be cool.
Legacy boys, Legacy's coming back.
Yeah, long-term story planning. Yeah, I like that. Yes, 100%.
Some fans like it's time. Busts open the glass plate, has their Legacy T-shirt in it. 25 years.
100%. Yeah, that's a good shout. Orton against Cody, that would be very good.
Right?
Ted DiBiase Jr., special guest referee, please. Thank you.
Who? What? Michael McGillicuddy? Not Michael McGillicuddy. Who was that guy?
What, Ted
Ted
DiBiase?
DiBiase. Yeah. He
Nice
was
one.
trying to fuck on me.
Yay! Get that into promo. You fucking win all the awards.
Oh my god! All right, moving swiftly on. Cool. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, what do you got left?
We were obviously we were ranking back on again your favorite show, Ignacio, the Daily Show. We were ranking the most favorite matches on Revolution across all the pay-per-views. And then basically we all dwindled it down. The winner that ultimately came to it was Kenny Omega and your Hangman Adam Page versus your favorite team, the Young Bucks, for the AEW Tag Team Championships. And obviously at the time, Soul was obviously giving our thoughts of why that should be the one. I think it was between that and MJF against CM Punk in the dog collar match. So it was getting pretty tight at the finals. Unfortunately, obviously, we didn't get a chance to fully go into exactly what Soul thought, why this was the most important match of in AEW's history regarding that. So we thought let's continue the conversation on this show again and let him explain why he thinks that Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page versus the Young Bucks was such an important match in the lineage and the history of AEW. So the floor is yours.
Sorry, I'm going to clear up my lungs and try to get all the capacity I can. Right. I feel like Hangman and Omega versus the Bucks is like the pinpoint, right? It's the pinpoint on the board. And you've got, because that's placed on the board, splinters off. So many things, branch off from it. So let's look at before this. So before this, we had All In, and the storyline going in that was kind of Hangman was the outsider of the elite. He had his match against Joey Ryan, and then sort of went from there. And then obviously the Bucks were teaming with Ibushi. Kenny was facing Chris Jericho, and Cody was facing Nick Aldis. Then AEW forms, and the storyline from even starting at the press conference was Hangman was gonna go for the title. Hangman was like, I'm going to be the first AEW world champion. Pac comes out and he's like, I'm a champion, but you're nothing, Hangman Page. And he's like, oh, then the match happens there. But obviously it doesn't. Pac had visa issues. So then, Hangman at the first ever Double or Nothing wins the Battle Royale to get the championship shot. And then we see, Bret Hart brings out the title, unveils it. And, Hangman's like, yeah, I'm going to win that. And then it goes to All Out, which is going to be Chris Jericho versus Hangman Adam Page to be crowned the inaugural AEW World Champion. And we see, if you tuned into, All Out and saw the pre-stuff as well as BTE, you saw Hangman wanted the Bucks to be in his corner. And you're like, this is a special moment for me. I want you guys to be there. And when you're there, I'm going to win the championship. But the Bucks are like, we have this, the ladder match against the Lucha Bros for the AAA championships. That's kind of really important to us. We'll try and be there if we can. And I think, if my memory serves me right, the Bucks lose that, I think the Bucks lose that. And then we go into the one.
Yeah.
It's Hangman versus Chris. Hangman he comes out on a full-out horse. Dude's cowboy shit in this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Hangman has nobody there. Not even Omega's there. Not even Cody's there. Not even the Bucks are there in his corner. And he loses. Chris wins the match and becomes the inaugural AEW World Heavyweight Championship. We then delve more into Dynamite. We see more of the Hangman's feuding with more Pac, and things spiral from there. They all go their separate ways, and we have the AEW World Champions, Tag Team Champions being unveiled, which would then be crowned by SCU. They would win it, and there was then a battle royale. I think it was to determine the number one contender, and the Bucks and Hangman and Kenny were in there because Hangman and Kenny were having single losses, right? Yeah. Kenny lost to Mox, Hangman lost to Pac, and then it was like, well, we're on a losing streak. Why don't we team up Cowboy Shit and the Omega? Fair news. But then the Bucks are there. And I'm pretty sure if I remember this correctly, because I don't know if this is just my memory going or the fever's kicking in, and you see Hangman pull out one of the Bucks, and Kenny gets the One-Winged Angel for the pin to get the contendership. And then that's like a hostility thing. Like we're the elite. We're supposed to be united in this. It's supposed to be our company. But things happen. And then we get to the Jericho Cruise episode of Dynamite where Hangman and Omega beat SCU for the tag team championships. And it's like a celebration moment. Hangman goes to the crowd next to a few couples of brewskis and has a good old time. A couple episodes of Dynamite later, we then get to Revolution coming up. And the Bucks are now the contenders. And there's promo segments of like, we're friends. Let's have a friendly match. But Hangman's clearly been drinking because there's the whole drinking segment with Hangman. He was drinking during promos, drinking on the way to the ring, drinking drinks out of fans' drink when that was acceptable, and there was no big cough going around. And then we get to Revolution, and there's interview segments with Hangman's like, Kenny, do you trust Hangman to have your back? Because he seems a bit off, and Hangman takes that as disrespect, and he acts a bit heelish, and it's like, whoa, what's happening here? Is Hangman going to betray? Is he going to be the heel in this situation? But we don't know what happens, and then the match happens, and the match is a banger in itself. It's a brilliant match of tag team with heart, soul, and storyline behind it. With the golden trigger hitting with the Bucks to Kenny, and Kenny kicking out with one. It's so passionate to him, that move with Ibushi, and he's like, "Nah, fuck you, bitches. That's for me and my lover boy. You ain't fucking touching that bitch." Hangman getting Meltzer driving on the goddamn ramp, buckshot lariats everywhere. Hangman hitting his own One-Winged Angel. And then, Hangman wins. He gets the pin with the buckshot lariat. I'm pretty sure. Yes, he does. And then the match ends. And it's kind of like hostility. Like, yeah, we're kind of in this or not. Hangman goes to the rope, goes out of it. But he's in the position for the lariat, right? Kenny's in the ring celebrating. Hangman's like, I could right now. I could, you son of a bitch.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
But then Hangman just lowers the ropes down. He's like, come on now. And they leave. And things go on as normal. And the original plan, obviously, was before the big cough. Blood and Guts match with Hangman joining the Elite again versus the Inner Circle with Cody there as well. Didn't happen because things happened. And we kind of went down a route of, Hangman okay? Is he okay? He's kind of like trying to ostracize himself because Kenny, you get from that point of view, Kenny was kind of being more of like the proud, sluggish kind of guy. Like, yeah, I'm pulling my own weight around here. I know what I'm doing. And Hangman was kind of be like the more grounded guy. So things happen. FTR would then come into the company at that point, and they would challenge for the tag team championships, and they would win. FTR would beat Kenny and Hangman for the title. And there's that classic image when they're lost. Hangman's trying to go in for Kenny for comfort, and Kenny just does a Samoa Joe, nope, and lets him fall to the ground, and it's defeat. It's pure, utter character destruction right there.
Yeah.
It's like, why? And Kenny's just like, it is what it is, eh? Canadian, fuck you. And then we would get, even like there was a segment as well, I think, where Hangman pulls one of the Bucks down to not get the contendership, and there's a bit where Matt throws a drink in Hangman's face and says he's out the Elite. And another iconic shot as well, they throw in the door and there's a glass mirror behind it, and you see a shattered Hangman in it. Symbolism. Beautiful. Wow. Yeah. Picasso. And then we get to the world title eliminator stuff. Obviously the Bucks would beat FTR for the titles, and the eliminator tournament ends with the final, which is Kenny versus Hangman. This is a challenge John Moxley. Where is coming? There's a hard fought match, and there's a minute where Hangman hesitates, but no, Omega just goes right in for it. One-Winged Angel pin, 1, 2, 3, boom. Kenny is the number one contender, and Hangman's lost at this point.
Yeah,
look at the Elite. He ain't got nobody. He ain't got no tag team. He ain't got no horse. He ain't got no whiskey.
No horse.
No horse, no whiskey, no fucking cowboy boots. This man's one winging it. And then someone reaches out to him, a former TNT champion in Brody Lee. Brody comes, hey, Dark Order is here for you. We could possibly ring you in for something. And Hangman's like, nah, it's fine. Then Brody would have the dog collar match and would be his last match, sadly, and he'd be gone from the company until his passing. But even then, the Dark Order were still there, and be like, hey, we're friends and buddies. And, it's why I feel like BTE is such an integral part of AEW. It's like the prologue and epilogue. You gotta watch that shit to get extra knowledge. It's like side quests. You get that shit, you're gonna get a whole ton of appreciation for it. That's probably why I love the Hangman anxiety storyline so much, because you watch Mondays, you get the thing leading up to it, you get the Dynamite payoff, and then you would go right back to it. And I remember Hangman would fight with Matt Hardy for the money because Hangman had nothing at that point. And Hangman would beat Matt Hardy, get the money. He'd buy lawnmowers for him in the Dark Order because that was a funny thing they were doing at the time. And, Kenny would win the championship from Moxley and go on to be the belt collector, winning the Impact title and AAA and just going on an absolute fucking tear. Even the Bucks and even the Good Brothers come in from Impact and they build up the Super Elite.
Yep.
That's what we would do. And just Hangman was there in the corner. Like Kenny would beat everybody. He was beating Pac. He was beating Orange Cassidy. He was beating Dante Martin. He was beating Jungle Boy. He was beating Lance. I think he beat Lance Archer at one point as well. I think even Ray Phoenix and Penta beating everybody. But there was still one person in his right side mirror that he didn't even acknowledge. He didn't even acknowledge that he was just there.
Yeah.
Just a member, right? He was just like, hey, he's there. I don't give a shit. I beat him before. What's the point? He's not got the balls to challenge up to me. And it goes back to that Revolution match when these two were fighting alongside each other and now bitter rivals. So that's why, eventually, people have said, did this storyline not end at the right time at All Out? Because that's where I feel like people were expecting it to be All Out. Obviously, Punk came into the company, plans changed, and they went with Christian. No complaint of it. Christian was cool as well. But I feel like I'm happy with how the storyline ended at Full Gear and everything. I fucking love it. But when that bell rung at the Full Gear match, my mind went to the Revolution match. When these two were standing side by side with the tag titles, facing their friends, and then right to Full Gear, where they're standing across each other for the biggest prize in the company. Even then, references still, even the way to All Out in the press conference at this Full Gear match, the Bucks come out injured from their loss against they had a loss against someone. What was it? I think it was Jungle Boy, Christian, and Luchasaurus with Adam Cole. Yeah, because I think it was that match because they had the all around the ring. They were hurt bad, right?
Yeah.
They come out and they're at the corner of Kenny, right?
Yes.
Side changes because Kenny goes to the other side and Hangman hits a buckshot, goes to the other side. The Bucks are there for him. The Bucks are in his corner.
Yes.
They're in his corner. Going back to the press conference, it shows like I'm going to win the title when you're in my corner. They were in his fucking corner. And then Hangman hits the buckshot lariat and wins off Kenny. And look, say whatever you will about the title reign, right? Might have been shit, might have been short, might have been overshadowed, but he still had great matches against Bryan Danielson, Lance Archer, and even Adam Cole. And even Dante Martin at one time.
Yes.
But that whole chase from Revolution 2020 was the goddamn keg being lit. That was the keg being lit for this whole year-long storyline. Like, I know Allison and the whole fucking WWE Appreciation Society are going to say the Bloodline's #1 story. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Look, cool. It's a cool storyline. I dig it myself. But week in, week out, BTE to Dynamite, watching the Hangman Adam Page anxiety storyline was just something that resonated so much for me. It was like, yeah, this is what wrestling is. It's the underdog beating up the big guy. You're fighting your fight and you're shooting your shot. And every point, I know AEW is on a bit of a slumper now and everyone likes to say it, but I will still never forget the fun moments I had at 5 a.m. in the morning, throwing my fist up in the air when Hangman held that title, threw down the beer that was offered by Stu Grayson and just hugged his friends. That is Hangman Adam Page. It is fighting through your personal demons with your friends' side and holding what you're fighting for. Because that, ladies and gentlemen, is cowboy shit.
Mic drop. Who wants story time with Soul, baby? Flipping out. My word. Fair enough. I can't fault anything. It was the perfect storyline in terms of progression and the outcome as well. I think that was one of the true that was where AEW truly shined in terms of what they could. Obviously, they were the true alternative, I must say, as well, when with also the conclusion. Yeah, I can't really fault anything about it. I never really like pre-title reign. It was gripping. It was awesome. Ignacio, do you have anything to add on that? Do you think it was actually shit. Like it was garbage. But but yeah,
No, that's bro. That's that. In my opinion, that's kind of like when they peaked. Was that? And I was there for that Full Gear pay-per-view when Hangman won the title. I was in Minnesota for that. But you caught me because that's early AEW, and you caught me in one of the matches, one of the 5 matches that you can count them on one hand, 5 that I liked from the Young Fucks and Kenny Omega, because I thought that match was pretty good with the tag with the Hangman and Kenny. And I thought it was a good match, and it did have a good story around it. But I think my favorite match, Revolution match, was as much as I love that Punk and MJF match, the dog collar. I think that Cody MJF match was really good.
That was on the list. Did
that
not get eliminated first?
I think Cody and MJF. And let me put this in perspective for you guys. So look at that pay-per-view, that Revolution pay-per-view. You had Cody, MJF. You had the Bucks against Kenny and Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the main event where Moxley got crowned the champion. And they all had great stories around them. Now look at this. It proves the regression, because look at this pay-per-view. You got the MJF Danielson, I think, is kind of flat. You got Wardlow against Joe. As much as I like Joe, Wardlow has been shit because he was the hottest guy, and now he's like, they cut his hair. It been like, because of his dad, he grew it out, and it's like you can't grow it back. Like,
yeah, it's a weird one. I ain't going for it.
And then like the tag match is like the titles. As much as I like seeing Jarrett in a main match or whatever, it's Scissor Me Daddy and all that stuff. Is like, ugh, like I'm not digging it.
That's what he's scissoring.
The guns are good, but they're too early, dude. It's just that just proves.
I agree. It's too early. It's way too early. But
it just proves the regression from that pay-per-view, the 2020 to now. It's just that they're at a low. But anyway, yeah.
I mean, I'll say here, like, as the AEW-ology kind of guy who has all the fucking history in the back of his mind, even though this fever is currently trying to burn it all. I feel like with this Revolution, the one match that, or like even the ones I feel like have the biggest storyline build is MJF and Danielson. Out of them has the biggest build. I feel like even with the guns and the Acclaimed have a storyline in themselves. Adding Jarrett on and whatever this other team's going to be it's just like an other addition on. Like, yeah, they've had history. The match that I feel like I wish had more storyline to it is the Elite versus the House of Black. I would have loved to see maybe more like Malachi or Buddy taunting the Elite, like throwing up their past deeds of like you were traitors or you were, or you had false hopes. Like look at Kenny kicking out AJ Styles or something like that, or Kenny betraying Ibushi, or the Bucks betraying everyone pretty much. Or I don't know, maybe have Malachi bring you out and ask you when you say you killed wrestling. Just have that come out. I don't fucking know, but I just think, like, yeah, I think like there is storylines to them, but the way to describe it is some of them have just plot summaries, while some of them have full blown arcs. And like for me, it's nothing wrong with that because I'm excited to see these guys wrestle. I'm excited to see what the company can do. I mean, I personally think they're going to add more heavy storyline matches. I feel like we're going to get 2 more to Revolution. We're going to get a Jade Cargill Open Challenge, and we're going to get Christian versus Jungle Boy. I feel like we're going to get those 2 added. And for the Jade Cargill Open Challenge, I feel like we're finally going to get fucking Chris Statlander coming back. Finally going to dethrone Jade. I take it. And like Christian versus Jungle Boy is going to be something in itself. Will that happen? May do. I feel like this is the prime time to do it. Strike when the iron's hot. Or they might save it for something later. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, they don't want to overstuff it because remember, we got a whole hour of one match to go through as well. So,
come on, it's Bryan Danielson. Anyone could watch Bryan Danielson for 2 hours and still be entertained.
Fair enough.
It's Bryan fucking Danielson, dude.
Fair enough. I think probably maybe one match, definitely the Christian Cage and Jungle Boy thing, unless they really don't care and they're just gonna throw it on a random episode of Dynamite. I don't know. That could easily do it that way. But yeah, it's I agree. It should be an interesting, should be a fun pay-per-view regardless. But I do see Ignacio's point in terms of the slight regression compared to where it was back in 2020 or 19, whatever that pay-per-view was.
Well, I mean, what I'll say to that is, like, how many bad years has WWE had in existence? How many bad years has Impact had in existence? How many bad years has New Japan had in existence? Every company
yeah.
goes through the loop. You know, you
Of course.
start off hot, and it's just keeping the momentum. That's
Yeah.
what a true company is, showing success. Yeah, turning a profit, having a loyal fan base, but being able to stay, you know, just survive in this. Like, I don't care. Your back could be against the wall. You got one clip in the chamber. You gotta fucking survive in this shit, man. And I feel like AEW, when they do new champions, is when they kind of have their factory reset era. You know, MJF now will always be entertaining, and people are always going to love that, right? He'll always be able to draw with whoever he faces. And I feel like after Danielson, depending on the TNT Championship result, I feel like it's going to be Wardlow next. And I feel like that could bring out some real hatred stuff. Obviously, with them being former members of the Pinnacle and all that. That could be stuff as well. But I feel like, yeah, if I fucking God, I hope House of Black win the Trios Championship. If they don't win it, I might actually say some shit that's going to make me revoke my AEW fanboys, and I'll say some goddamn shit.
Oh, imagine.
Don't fucking do this to me, Tony, please.
Fair enough. Okay then. So shoot. Well, I guess that's what we've come to the end of that. For basically, quick rundown just before, because I know you're running, but I know you're probably running against time. So quick rundown on the predictions: MJF versus Bryan Danielson. Who you got?
Brian, pussy, fuck.
Nope.
Well, sorry. Invasion of the pussy snatchers here. Jesus Christ.
Oh shit.
Did you say MJF?
Right, I'm going to say Bryan Danielson. Sorry, fuck. No, MJF. Sorry, Sorry, the cat distracted me. MJF.
Ignacio, who you got for that match? Quick.
MJF.
Yeah, I'm saying the same. The 4-way tag team match: the Guns, Acclaimed, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett versus TBD. Who you got, Soul?
The Guns.
Ignacio. Yeah,
the Guns.
I see the Guns as well. Moxie against Hangman Adam Page. Who you got, Soul?
Hangman Adam Page.
Ooh, Ignacio.
Who cares? They're both the shits.
Fuck you.
Hangman Adam Page. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. Who you got, Soul?
Samoa Joe.
Ignacio.
Yeah, Joe.
Okay, I'm gonna be the one to stick out. I'll say Wardlow. Jericho versus Ricky Starks. Who you got, Soul?
Ricky Starks.
100%. I'll say the same. Ignacio.
Fucking Jericho, because he can't stop feeding his ego.
Fair enough. Jamie Hayter versus Sarai versus Ruby Soho. Who you got, Soul?
Jamie Hayter.
Same as well. Cool. And of course, the Elite versus the House of Black. Who you got, Soul?
House of fucking Black. It better be. I swear to fucking Christ.
Ignacio.
Who cares? I'll be taking a shit break.
Fuck you.
And on that note, guys, we have come to the end of the show. Thank you very much, Ignacio. Thank you very much, Soul. Soul, do you have any updates? Or you're saving that for next time?
Well, I'll say one just now that I recorded while holding my lungs in. Oh God, I forgot his name. Shit, that's terrible of me. Yeah, but I'm blaming the COVID, all right? I'm blaming the COVID. That's why I forgot.
Whilst he looks that up, be sure to go check out that Bobby Fish interview as well. That is doing numbers. Yeah. Be sure to check that out as well.
Bobby Fish one has been absolute banging, man. I love that. You know, Bobby was cool to have on. That's something I will never forget. But, you know, the latest one, we had Andy Roberts on, someone who's been instrumental to ICW, FBWA, Fight Pro Wrestling Asylum. He's had there as well. But, you know, the recent one I did is Chip Schuyler, Nightmare Factory graduate as well, training under Cody and Glacier. QT Marshall just won the Ultra-Violent Championship for, what was it, DWA promotion, inaugural championship. Talked about how he loves deathmatch wrestling. Fuck you, Ignacio. I know you hate that shit. He was like, I always want to be a deathmatch wrestler. I want to be an Ultra-Violent champion. GCW is the company I want to sign with. So,
oh dear.
Garbage. Big man.
Fair enough.
Let's just say as well, I might have a guest on whose whole shtick is being a big, massive fan of Margaret Thatcher.
Why? Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. I might strangle this guest through my goddamn laptop.
Fair enough. I look forward to seeing that one for sure. I want to see how that does on the IG. But fair enough. As always, thank you very much, Sol. Thank you very much, Ignacio. As always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Goes a long way. All that good stuff. Follow us on IG as well, on official_TITTT, as well as the Soul Sessions official, and at Wrestling Republic as well. Other than that, he has been Sol. Down there has been Ignacio. I have been your host, Chaos. Until next time, guys. Peace.